Greetings. This video explores the four database components: tables, queries, forms, and reports. I have opened R2G-1 from the file in Blackboard. And we see over here tables, queries, forms, and reports. You can expand each of those, or I'll expand them as we go. So tables, we're going to begin with tables as all databases do. Tables are where all of our data resides, and without at least one table, we don't really have a database. So let's take a look at the customers table. I opened that by simply double-clicking it, and we can see here that it contains the sort of data that one would expect to find in a record of customers, right? Their name, their address, their phone number, how they came to contact us, and a customer ID number. Okay, so that is a table. Next, let's take a look at a query. So we're going to open queries, expand queries, and we're going to take a look at the trip sales query. Okay. So the trip sales query has actually pulled data from two other tables. A trip table. So here's a list of the various trips. Here's a list of sales. And the trip sales has pulled data from both of those and combined it into one query. So a query is where we ask a question, ask it to pull data from various other sources into one place. And we'll look at that much more later. Let's go ahead and change some data here in our query. See, we have all of these trips called American Heritage Tour, and we've changed the name to American Legacy Tour. So I'm going to go up here in the first one, select Heritage, and I'm going to type over that. It's now American Legacy Tour, and when I click on another row, it updates all of those records. If we were to go to trips, let's alphabetize this so that we can find that American Heritage Tour. We can see that it's been changed to American Legacy Tour. So changing our data in any place within our database carries out that change throughout the rest of the database. Okay. Next, let's take a look at forms. I'm going to open our customer form. So we can see here that this is a screen for entering the customer data that we saw in the customer table. There are actually two ways to enter data in a database. We can enter it in the original table. So here's our table. We can go down here to the end, scroll down. We could go right here and create a new record by beginning to type it in there. Or more often than not, we do that in an entry form. So we're dealing just with one record in front of us at a time, and we just fill in the blanks as requested. Click next, and we can just go on and continue that data entry process. Finally, let's examine the sales report. So here's reports. We're going to take a look at the sales report, trip sales, and we can see the report is an easy-to-read compilation of some specific data. In this case, it's a report of the various trips that were sold. So here's American Legacy, here's Bear Valley Adventures, and then there's some basic data about the trip, the start date, how long it lasted, where it originated, and the price. And then below that is a list of the customers that participated in the trip. And we see that scrolling down for each trip. So reports generate data in a user-friendly visual way. The head of marketing wants to know how the trips did last month, we can pull this report and show him what each trip produced in terms of how many participants, what the price was, things like that. So those are the 4 components of Access: tables, queries, forms, and reports. We'll look in the next video at how we edit these things, how we link them, and do some different things with them.